Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of The Buzz, your social media program on television. It's Thursday, the 23rd of May 2019, and we're up again with the lifestyle edition of the show. And of course, you know, we discuss relationship and topics on marriage as they trend on social media. Welcome to the show. My name is Patience Bello Kafo, your regular host on the program, and of course I'm here with my friends again on another time out on the show. Pastor Dolly is back on the show. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Patience.
Thank you for coming out today.
My pleasure.
All right, like I was introducing her to someone else a while ago, I said she's the resident pastor on this program. Yes, always here. She's a minister of God. She's an author, a gospel artist, a counselor, a businesswoman, and much, much, much more. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Patience.
Also here today, Charles Oyenucheya is here today. Welcome, Charles.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. Charles, of course, is the Executive Director of Global Child Health and Safety Initiative. He's a child psychologist, amongst other things. Do I need to mention you're my personal teddy bear again?
Right.
Yeah. I think the whole of Nigeria already knows that. Yeah. So even at home when I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, okay, I have to call Charles. My husband will go, your personal teddy bear. I'm like, welcome, Charles.
And you left me a birthday message.
Yes, I did.
You
Yeah.
called me your teddy bear
Yes.
on Instagram.
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh my God, like, you haven't told us.
Welcome, Charles.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to the show. Okay, we have a first timer at the table. She's not a first timer to Galaxy TV. She's an old-time friend. She's always been with me on this journey in broadcasting, you know. But this is the first time, incidentally, she's on this particular show. Biodun Odunokwe is here on the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great to
Thank
see you again.
Same here. Same here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, who has added? Is it me or you? It's looking like it's you.
Let's see in the balcony.
All right, Biodun Odunokwe, she's the founder, Redefined Womanhood Initiative. She's a family life practitioner and a teens coach. Welcome, everybody. Also, we welcome you, viewers, to the show. You know you're a part of the show. Use the number 0802-836-8971 to make your contributions to the program. We'll go straight into the show. We're starting with a teaser. Now, a particular photo has been trending on social media for a couple of days. It shows a husband, I hope we will see that picture now, a husband helping his wife to loosen her braided hair. And of course, some people have reacted to this particular picture. Some social media users think the photo depicts true love, while others have seen it as an insult to men. A particular Facebook user, Undu Ezenwa Francis, joined in the argument, and he stated that photos like this make women expect so much in marriages, which in turn leads to lack of respect. Let me quote him verbatim. This is actually what women want, but believe me, so much expectation of these and such likes is the cause of lack of respect in marriages. Women want their marriage to be a fairy tale, thereby expecting much from men. Some even go to the extent of seeking equality with their husband without even knowing it, all in the name of making women part of your decision. Women are also part of the family, but let's just know that marriage is not friendship where you do as you like. Act movies too. Marriage is more than business. It's a destiny one shapes for himself. It's where we are allowed to play God. I'm sure he was talking about men in that context. Let's not try to imitate photos, movies, and tales. It is never real. Even some of those tales end up in an unpleasant ways. Romeo and Juliet will tell you more. End of quote. Oh, deep gone, like they say. Yeah, so where do we start? Pastor Dolly.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with what that man is doing. You see, there are things that spice up marriage. It's not like the man is jobless, or he's trying to, or the woman is sitting on the man's head. It's just a way of spicing up the marriage. I think that is why the man is doing that for the wife. And it's something every other man can imitate. You may not be able to be the one that can lose the braid. You can be the one that can do something. Like on my way here, I was telling my son with me in the car that I remember when daddy used to make pancake for us in the house. And that since he left, we don't eat pancake. But that was his, one of the things he used to tantalize us in the house. We look forward to him making that pancake. And there is a way he fry egg for us with vegetable. Wow. We look towards it, you know, in the evening. Sometimes because it is in the evening, I will protest. I don't want it this time of the evening. I don't want you to do it. I know that, but after doing it, I will still go and taste from it. My protest was fighting for my own health, my eating right and all that, because of the time of doing it. There are so many things like that a man can do to just spice up the marriage. It doesn't mean that the man is woman rapper, as our people will say. It's just spicing up his marriage. And you that is saying that he has done something wrong, don't be surprised. While he's enjoying his marriage, you may not have that much of enjoyment that like he does. I'm not also saying that that is the thing that makes the marriage work. I'm not saying that if you don't do that, you are not a good man. No. Every man has his own area where he is good. Let us do as much as we can to emphasize that particular area of your partner, rather than condemning.
Well said, Charles.
Yeah, you know, there's an issue I have. But I've come to such a place where I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt to express their opinions and what they think. I have actually come to understand that everyone will not think the same way. However, there are things you hear and read on social media and you wish is legal to feed people's brains a bullet. Like, now, first of all, I'm just going to come from another angle. What exactly is wrong in a man being like a woman rapper for his wife?
What is even a woman rapper?
Exactly. Let's even define that.
Let's define what is woman rapper.
That for me right there.
Like, I want to know.
Most romantic things I've seen in recent times, and it's not. I'm sure, or let me just assume, it's not something that goes on all the time, right? The woman was probably at home, you know, having problems losing the braids, and the man says, "Okay, babe, sit. Let me help you." And then someone captures the moment in the picture, and then people are, you know, there's an uproar. I don't understand, like, what kind of homes did people grow up in? What kind of backgrounds do they have that makes you feel if you know you can't like do unusual stuff?
You're lowering
your
your
wife.
standards, you know, as a man.
Let's not even say that. There's nothing like standards as a man. Every human being can do anything to please the one they love. It's not about the sex. And what exactly does he mean by God? Playing God in the home. You know, some people actually think that God is like a sadist who gives no one room to express themselves. If it were that way, no one would be alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
and my Bible tells me God is love. I mean, what is a better way to express love?
The Bible even says he made us in his image.
Yeah.
The image in him is not like physical look.
Right.
He's talking about our ability to act like him. His love.
With love,
You see the extent God went. He sent his only begotten son to come and die for the sins of the world. We were not looking for him. He's the one looking for man. He's the one who gave. The Bible says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So we didn't really merit it, but he gave it to us.
Okay.
It's not as if woman must merit what everything they deserve from
All
their
right.
husband.
I want to hear Biodu's perspective.
There is this saying that nothing means anything unless the meaning you attach to it. Now, so it's a matter of perception. It is different people have different perceptions, you know, and it has to stem with their upbringing, their environment, and a whole lot of things. You know, my husband does a lot of things for me, and I dare not disrespect him. I dare not. When I say he does a lot of things for me, he washes my undies up till now. Yes, I can't remember the last time I washed my undies.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
You know, so, but that does not mean, there are areas where
doesn't make him less of a man.
It doesn't make him less of a man.
Personal.
And that was why I said I can't. So
personal.
it's an individual thing. It has to do with perception. So I would just say that people should try and understand one another and do what they think is right and suitable for their marriages.
And then don't condemn
At all.
what happens in another person's marriage just because you feel one type of way about it. Having said all this, I still want someone to break it down for me in almost a language that an illiterate like me will understand what woman rapper is really. Because I know a lot of our mothers way back there, it was like a derogatory, like an abusive word for a man. What is a woman rapper really?
Well, the way I see it is, back then, just like the person who you were reading from, you know, he said, men are gods, right? Hey, So that is the way the women there were seeing their husbands, as a god that must be obeyed.
More
Whatever
like
the
a
man
demon.
says, yeah,
Because
whatever
God
the
is not
man
that way.
says, you must obey. That is why the woman will just sit at home, and the man just goes and bring another woman to come and put on top of her head, and she has no right to question. Or God has said it, it must be obeyed. It has to be that way. They were not happy with it anyway. They were burning inside of them. Anytime a man goes out, does something that is different from that slavery, slave master relationship with the wife, the people around will say, this man is woman rapper, because he's helping the wife to do this, he's helping the husband to do that. I was in a conference some time ago, some years back now. My eldest brother is a minister of God. He was preaching, and he was telling, it's a marriage conference, and he said he do wash the wife's undies. I tell you the truth, my own husband was sitting near me, and he pinched me, and he said, look, your brother can wash on this for the wife. Me, I won't wash on this for you. You understand? So for maybe his kind of mentality then is that if a man should go as far as washing on this for the wife, he's a woman rapper.
It's all right
and
then.
Things like
okay,
that.
I think so. That means Beyond Otonoko's husband is a woman rapper, and I think my husband is a woman rapper too, because you know, yeah. So it's okay to be a woman rapper, really.
It makes you have a happy home. Being a woman rapper makes you have
Charles, are you a woman rapper?
I'm certainly not.
Oh my goodness, as a woman rapper, I don't know what people are about, really. But really, sincerely, I saw that photo. I didn't understand why that will cause some controversy on social media in the first place. Yes, background, yeah. Like you never saw your father
You know, I was
show some sort of love to your mom.
Ago, I grew up in a home where my father gave us the permission to, you know, express our opinions.
Sure.
You know, we always had family meetings. Everyone
And you speak
from a very young age. So it's alien to me to want to relate with someone and not allow the person the chance to express how they feel. You know, so it's all about background. But we had my mom's closest friend. The husband of that woman was like the lion of the tribe of their house. No one had an opinion, right? And the kids grew up that way. So when they used to tell us that we run a democracy in our home. You know, so it's all about perception.
You have something
And
more
I also want to
add?
say that the fact that you grew up from a home where doing things like that for your mother by your dad is seen as woman rapper, it doesn't mean you have to remain that way. I'm from a polygamous home. My dad married 3 wives. My mom was the first wife. My brothers saw some of those things that were neglected by my dad, and they made up their mind. We are not going to go the way my father went. We are going to improve on him. The area he failed, we are not going to fail that way. To the glory of God, I have 5 brothers. My eldest brother is about 43 years old in marriage today. And he's very happy. We call them boy, oh boy. 40-something years in marriage. All the children are married, and they are very happy together. Like he said, he washed the wife's undie. And that didn't change him. It makes him a better man, really.
You want to add anything?
Modeling is very important.
Yeah.
You know, being a good role model and seeking ways of improvement on a regular basis is very, very important.
Very key. All right. I mean, okay, given marriage might not be a fairy tale, if you know what I mean.
No, it
you know,
certainly isn't.
Definitely
it
not.
isn't,
Definitely,
you know. But then
definitely not.
marriage also is not like a chore. I don't know how people look at it. You know, like, please, men, it is okay for you to do simple things for your wife and with your wife, if you know what I mean. You know, like it doesn't make you less of a man.
I'm sorry, Patience. I think I just remembered what you
10
said.
seconds.
Yeah, the guy said marriage is not a relationship. If it's not a relationship, what is marriage?
It's where men are allowed to play God.
Is it a war zone?
Yeah, girlfriend kind of a
okay.
thing.
So it's
It's
not a war zone.
movie and all that. Okay, let's push it along from here. Our first major story today: multiple husbands for women. That's what's called polyandry. Yeah? Okay. A Nigerian woman took to Twitter to ask the question, if a man can have 4 wives and cohabit with them in the same house, what exactly stops a woman from doing the same thing? Now, this is a question that is beyond me, so I brought it to the table. Can women begin to have multiple husbands? Is that even something that can ever happen? Let me start from that end of the table this time.
Oh my God.
Yes, we'll start from
Okay.
you.
Well, because I am a Christian, I would go that way. Personally, I don't think it is proper for a woman to begin to have more than one husband. Thus, at the same time, I don't also think it is ideal for a man to have more than one wife. But all those things happen. So we shouldn't say because a man is doing it, so you also want to do it. That is from my own perspective, and morally speaking also. So I don't think it is right. You know, I think that woman probably is looking at what is good for the goose is what is good for the gander. But things don't have to work that way. I mean, if somebody is being, in quotes, foolish, it doesn't make you to decide to also be. That's the way I'll put it.
Okay, so you don't think it's possible. Let's even look at capacity.
Capacity for the woman,
yes.
capacity
Is there capacity for any woman to actually have more than one wife, one husband?
Well, individuals vary. One person vary from one another. If a woman can have maybe several boyfriends or male friends and can handle them, you know, well, I'm not saying that is right. I don't think it is also impossible to be able to handle that. But I am talking about something that is moral. I am looking at the moral aspect, you know, and being a Christian as well. It is not something that I would support.
All right, I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear your view, Charles.
I want her to break down something. She used an interesting choice of words. Like she said, it's not right for a woman to have more than one husband, and then said it's not ideal for a man to have more than one husband. Are you trying to say
it's right, but it's just not ideal? Those are two different words.
But for me, of course, you know, I come from a non-conventional school of thought. If the man can do it, the woman can. That's my opinion. Now, it may not be ideal. I know Pastor Dolly is rolling her eyes, but this is just the truth. Like she said, you took the words right out of my mouth. Okay. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. It's just that we are no matter how, you know, modern we try to be, we still are in a patriarchal society.
Of course.
All over the world. So, you know, there's some things that a man would do and would raise eyebrows, but you know, people will shrug it off and say, oh, it's just a man. You know, sexism is embedded deep in our culture, in our religious beliefs, in our traditions.
Everything.
You know, Abraham had more than one wife, Jacob had countless women, Solomon had 300 wives and I think 700 concubines. It's not a big deal when we think about that in context.
Okay.
But you hear about a woman in the Bible who has a husband, like the woman that was going to be stoned, just because she slept with another man. And then everyone, there's just an uproar.
And so, you know, the Bible never mentioned
the man.
The man,
right?
Yes,
so
we don't know what happened. Like,
it's
that's
crazy.
not
So
fair.
the patriarchy of our society is really, you know, skin deep. Now, I'm not one to pass a blanket and say, oh, this is what everyone should go by. Whatever floats your boat. Like she mentioned, some women. Now, who's to say if a married woman has a boyfriend, she's married to two people? What is the Bible definition of marriage?
One man, one woman.
No, it's not written that way in the Bible.
Okay, so how is it written?
I haven't seen it.
All right, explain.
It says a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave to the wife, and they both shall become one. Right? So you can argue that a man can do that several times. So it's just open. There's a lot. It's not a closed case situation. However, when you think about it, when you look at it from, you know, like she said, the moral angle, not just the moral angle, like the sexist angle, it seems something almost impossible. But I do understand the argument of the woman that wrote that thing. If a man can do this, why can't a woman do it? Like in this age of female empowerment, gender equality, and all of that.
Pastor Dolly, I know you have a divergent. So let's
not
hear
much. What I would want to say is that if the man can do it, definitely one would have expected that a woman can do it.
Able to.
But we must be very careful to say that the woman cannot handle it. Let's be frank here. The woman cannot handle it. Yes,
right away.
because I want to tell you why. I'm from a polygamous setting. You understand? I couldn't have imagined my mother having 3 men in the house as her husband. Because I remember then, anytime it's my mother's turn, my dad would just come in The moment he stands by the door, we know that that night, he is going to that part of the house to go and sleep where daddy is. You understand? So how do you imagine a woman having to be going around like that? It's not going to be possible. Besides, whether we like it or not, we know there are women that are very financially buoyant, but we still understand that providing for the home is the responsibility of the man. If you're going to carry 3 women in the house or 3 men in the house, because you are the husband now, or the wife to the 3, so you are going to be responsible for these 3 men. You are going to love them equally. Then talking from the Christian angle, when God made man, Jesus Christ was asked this question. They said a man married a woman finally, no, from one to the other one, that who is going to be her husband in heaven. And Jesus said there is no marriage in heaven. And he said from the beginning, the one that, I think there was this case they brought to him, to where he said from the beginning, okay, now I remember that situation. When they were asking him, should a man put away his wife for every cause, for every reason? Jesus Christ said, no, you can't put away woman for every reason. That from the beginning, God made them one to one. The reason why Moses commanded that he should give a written note of divorce is because of the hardiness of your heart. In other words, from the beginning, God did not, no matter who is involved, God did not make man to marry more than one wife. That's simply what Jesus Christ was saying there. And of course, if we go to Abraham that he just mentioned, Abraham did not marry 2 wives at a time. It was after the death of Sarah that he married Keturah. It was when it was Sarah who gave her maid to him to sleep with. He didn't marry. No, he didn't marry her.
In the case of Jacob, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Pastor Dolly. The wives took their maids and gave to Jacob, and the Bible actually records them as his wives.
They were not his wives. They were the slaves. Then, when you have a slave, both the slave and the children that are given birth to by the slave, they are yours. So it was on that ground they gave their maids to their husbands, but they were the one their husbands paid bride price on. Remember, that doesn't make it right, because a lot of things that happened in that home is because of because they were 2 women to a man.
Okay,
so it's not advisable.
A question here. Edore Agba is asking, if a woman has many husbands, who of the husbands will be father of her children, since she will have to sleep with the men at all times? So who will be the bona fide?
You know, we have DNA tests. So she carries the pregnancy. Abby?
Yeah,
and there's a saying that the woman always knows who the father of the child is.
Not in every case.
Not in every case.
Well, that's why we have science to help us find out.
Okay.
It's only science that can find that out. Yeah. There's no way the woman, except it's for a long period of time, maybe the other 2 stayed away, and it's only one. Then she can say, oh, is this one that slept with me
the
this
truth
time?
is the roles and the realities of that situation will not be like the man, all right, who has many wives and wants to sleep with a different wife. Had it been that the roles were reversed, it would be the same thing. Like the woman would have to choose what man and when she's going to have relations with the man.
Just like the men do it anyway.
Flip the situation.
I'll be coming from another perspective anyway. If we're talking about father, we also need to understand that there's a difference between father and fatherhood. The father of a child does not necessarily have to be the one that is providing the role of fatherhood to that child. So this has to be put into consideration. Yeah.
Okay, you know,
but the woman would be lucky.
But for me, I don't think even by God's original design, this would be a smooth arrangement. If you know what I mean.
You know what? Patience, but you don't feel. You see, it's all mindset. It's all perception.
Wow.
You don't feel this way about a man that has 5 wives. That's the truth.
So why should you feel that way about a woman with 5
There
husbands?
you go. That's my point.
Wow. Okay, let's look at feedbacks. IK from Ogba. He's reacting to the teaser about the man helping the wife with her hair, and he says, pardon me, the writer married someone else's wife. That I can tell you for free. When you marry a friend turned wife or hubby, then you will realize there's heaven on earth.
Wow.
Thank you, IK,
Thank you.
for that one. Okay, let me just start from the top now. When you have a husband that quarrels more than you, the wife, and to the extent insulting you as a wife that you are not up to the girls he has gone out with, such a man now, what will the wife do to him?
I guess that person has issues in her marriage.
Yeah, emotional issues.
Yeah.
All right, Fumi Zira, you're becoming like a very ardent viewer of this show, all the way from Yola. Says, nothing like woman rapper. This is true love. African men happa. Change. You don't want true love. You want juju love. Abi. All right. Solomon in the Bible married many wives, but when do you see where do you see where a woman marry more than one man is a harlot? If you doubt, try it and see.
Well, someone once mentioned to me that every woman, in quotes, is a harlot.
Mayowa from Ikorodu says, I
That's
disagree
not
with the man that says what a man can do, a woman can. The Bible says the man is the head of the house. Would you want to change the word of God now? That the woman should be the head since she can do what a man can? Sincerely, it will tell on the woman when she gets old.
That is so
That's
sexist. That's a
my
disgustingly sexist thing to say, as far as I'm concerned.
Edwin from Sable. Let me call it like my Wafi people. Sable. Sable. As for polyandry, I think it's not possible for a woman to have more than one husband. The woman will not have the intellectual capacity to run such a home. The man was not made from the woman, but the woman from a man.
And then ever since, every man has come from the woman.
Nice point.
There you go.
Okay. All right. My name is Mr. Benga Olomi. To what you're asking, I'm not in support of multiple husbands for women. If a woman marries to a man for the first time and she wants to remarry, such a woman should pray in order to get the correct man as a second husband. The message is a bit confusing. Okay, Benga from Barua, I acknowledge your message. Okay, let's read a couple more, then we'll move on. Ojiji Oluwa blessing from Agege. Some people don't have any respect for women. Why you call that woman rapper? Every woman should be respected. May God bless you all sitting there. You all shall never be punished for this woman rapper sake.
Oh my God.
A lot of things happening out there, all in the name of woman rapper. Pastor Dolly, you said it all. May God bless you. I love you. Oh my goodness. What a prayer. Okay, thank you. Thank you, blessing.
Thank you.
All
But
right.
I know some people are saying God should punish me.
Oh,
I'm
but
just-
really?
No.
All right, so what's something else to say quickly in summary so we can move on to the next topic?
Well, I still want to say that we should not waste our energy at this time thinking about women marrying 3 men, because the country is already hard enough.
Oh Lord.
Going to marry 3 wives,
Three
3
husbands.
husbands is going to bring more problems
No,
to
it's
us.
not
Multiple.
economically empowered. She will have access to greater luxuries of life.
For me,
Let's loosen
I will be
our minds.
available to cancel you when you do it.
Let's just loosen our minds. I think it's just a sexist. No, the truth is, in my mind, when I think about this in my mind, I really don't see the feasibility. Right?
Exactly.
But, however, I have not seen the feasibility of things in the past.
That are
And
now.
today, I'm singing a different.
So this woman has sort of like just lighted the spark or something, you know, for maybe a future occurrence.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Ah.
And my mind is so expanded, I can accommodate anything.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Let's wait and see. Who knows? Maybe in the future. I mean, but then how do you look at a woman and say, that woman has 5 husbands? So, you know, like,
It's just a sexist mindset.
okay. It's all right.
It
I
is.
agree.
But when you look at a man that has 12 wives, you're like, woo!
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's move it along. Okay, so this is like an age-long issue, you know, it's being passed on from one generation to another, you know, talks about initiating the sex education, you know, talk with our children. And it's still ongoing because even as of today, especially with the advent of social media and technological advancement, it's becoming more and more, difficult for parents to actually reach their children. So let's talk. How do you actually begin or initiate the sex education talk with the children? Where do you start from?
I think we should start from when the child is still very young. We don't wait.
How young is very young?
Well, maybe 9 years old or less. Yes, should be able, because these days, 9-year-old girl can menstruate. So she must understand things about her body before she gets to that stage. Otherwise, if you don't give her that lecture, somebody will give it to her outside. When I was a child, I was already in the secondary school before I started menstruating. But people in the school were already teaching me about menstruation, asking me questions about menstruation. I remember when I even opened my dress and checked when I started developing breast, and was like, your breast is shining. It is when you are having menstruation. And I didn't know what it was all about because my mother didn't know enough to have taught me about it. But I know better. I should be able to teach my children. I should be able to understand that at that stage, a lot of things can go wrong if they are not taught. These days, I even think with all that is happening out there, with all the rape that is going on, child rape and all that.
Fetus rape as well.
And all that. So I think it is better we even start teaching them maybe from age 4, so that they can understand, like what I do, teaching children. I'm a children teacher as well. Teaching children, some of the things I tell them, that there are your private parts of your body that even your dad is not permitted to touch. Because if they don't know, we have seen fathers raping their daughters. We have seen uncles abusing their nieces, or nephews. Aunts abusing their nephews. If we don't start on time to start letting them know the part of their body that if anybody thought that person is a predator, it can harm them, they will not understand. We don't wait. I remember my son, he was in the secondary school. When he came home one day, was showing me what they taught them in school. I was the one that actually taught him about that part of life. Because from what he brought to me, I believe he deliberately came home that day to ask me questions from what they taught him in school. And I had to sit him down to teach him everything by myself. It's very important. Otherwise, the society is so corrupt. It's so upside down these days. If we don't teach them from the early age, we may be surprised they have started doing the wrong thing before we teach them.
Okay, all right. So we're no longer in the generation where you think when you actually have a sex talk with your young children, you are doing more harm than good because you're exposing them to things they shouldn't know at that age, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm talking about having like the sex education talk with your children. That's one of my areas of specialty, right? And then we like to delineate this issue into, like she mentioned, acceptable forms of social contact, social bodily contact, and then we move deeper into sexual abuse and other forms of abuse. Now, most of my trainings, I have lots of teachers and childcare professionals, and this question always comes up. When you have this talk with your children, are you not exposing them to things that they shouldn't know? Now, this is the issue. Like she said, these children will learn these things. Now, the question is, where will they learn? Do you want to teach them, or should they get this information in a safe haven where there's no risk of danger or exposure to these things? Or do you want them to find out these things the hard way, the difficult way, through experience? Now I tell parents, at the age of 2, about 2 years, or let me not limit it to 2, the first intellectual activity that children usually develop is the ability to mention the different parts of their bodies. At the age of 2, you can ask a child, show me your hand, and she goes that way. Show me your nose, and she goes that way. Now the point is this, from the moment, and this is what I teach, from the moment a child can identify the different parts of the body, that's when you start to teach the child that these parts of your body, these areas are no-go to anyone, right? And like she mentioned, well, a leader in my field has recently just made us understand. Before we used to say, private parts of the child's body and public parts. Now this nigga just shattered the glass ceiling. He told us every part of a child's body is private.
Yeah.
And that's Taiwo
I agree
Akinlami.
with that.
You know, he's big on child protection. So you have to teach your child now, though all parts of your body are private, there are some parts that it's okay to have physical contact with, you know, certain people in order to guard against sexual abuse or predation, like she says. And then I would like to point out, you know, most parents find it funny or weird to have these conversations with their children. When you are talking to your child about sex education, don't use funny words to describe those, but don't say your pum pum, don't say your wee wee, don't say, call it what it is. So that the child knows. There's a sort of safety that comes with exposure. So that child is aware. This part is not for anyone to touch. And then when, the point is this, when you use nicknames, it becomes like a joke. It becomes like a plaything to the child. If someone says to a child, come, let me play with your wee wee, the child will probably just engage. But when he knows that this is what this part is called, and someone wants to fiddle with that part, the child is aware that something wrong is happening.
All right, let me ask Mr. Dunokwe, because I know you also do a lot of coaching for teenagers, you know, and young people. How far should you go in the name of sex education?
Yeah, before I answer that question, let me quickly add to what Charles and Pastor Dolly have mentioned. The ideal age should start from like 18 months. 18 months.
Really?
And yes. And you know, you can start teaching children with music. There are sex educational music, you know, that you can play for children that they will get used to. When they get used to it, as they grow, before they even begin to know how to identify their body parts, they are used to that music, and when they now have the ability to mention their body parts, it becomes easier. So it is something that should start. There's a baseline. 18 months is ideal. Now, going from there, the issue of when do you, what age should you start would also have to do with the nature of that parent. Now, as a parent, you must also be able to redefine your personality as a parent towards redefining your, the sexuality of your child. Now, what do I mean by that? There are different types of parenting styles that we are using. And of course, a lot of people have also come up with several forms of parenting. Now, you as a parent, you need to ask yourself, where do you fall? Now, are you the kind of parent that you believe, you don't believe in talking about it? Do you believe that other people should be the one to talk about it? That is where you have to start from.
Is that even acceptable?
Yeah, yes, it is. Because
because
there are some parents that believe that, no, I shouldn't talk about it. It's not my duty. Now, if you are that kind of parent, all these things you are saying, they will not be able to follow it if that person has not dealt with him or herself. That mindset has to be dealt with. Now, there's some people that are too spiritual. Like a child comes to you and is telling you, but mommy, I like that boy in my class. God forbid, I bind you. Binding is not the issue here. Binding is not the issue. It's because that parent does not have that knowledge. That parent is not well informed. So the solution is not to bind, but the solution is to get information, clear your mindset, and know that I need to. So these are the areas that you need to look at. You know, so when you identify what category you fall into as a parent, then you now begin to say, how do I start? That is the major thing. How do I start? And of course, you will start the way my other colleagues have mentioned. However, your relationship with your child is also very key. Now, if you don't have a good relationship with your children, you don't communicate fluently, it will be totally difficult. So you need to begin to train yourself. You need to begin to learn how to do that. And that is why it is good for many parents to get themselves exposed into a lot of seminars so that they'll get accustomed to all these things.
Okay, I asked and I'm asking again. How far should you go? Should you go all the way, all in the name of giving the sex talk? And what is the frequency? Like, how often should you do this
when
talk?
You say go all the way, I say you can go all the way, but with caution. Now, if you say you're not going to go all the way, you don't know what that child knows. You don't follow the child to school. You don't know what the child is exposed to. Even when you when you have you don't give access to telephones and all of that. So you can go all the way. All the way, but let there be caution and let them understand. Baby steps, yes, but let them understand the the intricacies of all these things and what they need to do. My 14-year-old started talking to me about falling in love with someone. She's in SS2 and SS1, and I said, of course, I've prepared all my children. So because of that, they can tell me anything. She was having crushes and all of that, and her built and all of that. And she said, but mommy, I like him. And I said, oh, yeah, it's okay to like him. It's so natural to like him. You like him, okay, fine. But okay, what are the feelings about? So we sat down, we analyzed what the feelings are. You need to let the otherwise. So you can go all the way, but let there be caution.
Okay, let me ask Charles now, how frequently should you have
the thing is, I advise. Now, you know, when we talk about sex education, we're looking at, the intimate interaction between male and female, or male and male, or female and female, because it comes in a variety of emotions in our children. I usually say it's safest for the child to bring up like when you want to talk about deep things of a sexual nature. Like she said, her child came to her with a feeling. So it's better to take it from there. And like she said, rather than be stoic, explore, the deep, intimate aspects of that feeling. For instance, like, it's perfectly natural. Everyone has feelings. And like she said, sometimes I look at my nieces and my nephews and I'm like, when I was in JS2 in high school, I remember some of the things I was doing. And then, as parents, we tend to like delude ourselves into thinking that our children are purer than us. But it's not the case. So now the frequency, like she said, will depend on the already established line of communication that you have with your child.
Okay, all right, Pastor Dolly, quickly.
And it's very important that you, the parent, you are the one that is teaching your children the right thing.
I agree.
Because if you leave them for someone else to teach them for you, they may teach your child the wrong thing. Whether you like to teach them or not, they will definitely learn. So it's better you teach them the right thing. The only thing that saved me in my own case was, like I said, I got the lessons outside and it was negative. The only thing that saved me was because I got born again as a child. When you go to church, some of these things they are preaching to you, don't do this, don't do that. That was, oh, if you do this, you go to hellfire. And I didn't want to go to hellfire. That was what actually kept me from doing the wrong thing. But we can help our children. The opportunity is always presenting itself. Anytime it does, cash in on it, use it. Don't waste it. Don't miss it. Don't make it look like you are busy. Don't be too busy not to have time for your children. Create time to talk to them. Don't shut them up. Let them talk. Don't make it look like when they are talking, they are spoiled. They are not spoiled. They have feelings. It is natural for them to have feelings. It is normal for them to have feelings. Like when I was teaching my son, I told him you cannot be too holy not to have feelings. As a man, you must, you must,
like giving you a round of applause.
You must have feelings. And the way you handle your feelings matters much. That can ruin you, it can make you in life. You must take charge of your feelings. Don't let your feelings take charge of you.
Even as exposed as we think we are in this generation, this is still a very difficult area for most parents, which is why I brought it here. I have a very inquisitive 6-year-old son, JJ. He one day, just out of the blues, he asked me, Mommy, when you meet a woman, how do you know this is the person you will marry? Of course, it threw me off. I'm like, you are just 6 years old, so why are you thinking of what you see in a woman to make a wife, But then I had to quickly calm myself down and say, okay, you know what, dude? It's not yet time for kind of, but that tells you what goes on in their minds.
In this age
of civilized, of technological advancement and everything. So parents, let's all man up, okay? So we can raise the kind of quality of children that we want to raise. I would like to cap up today's program with this message that came in from Ade from Okitikupa. If children are exposed to sex education, they will be well informed of the dangers of sex abuse. Just in the name of religion, parents find it difficult to teach the children about the implication of sex. Parents should teach all their children everything about sex. If you don't, they will disappoint you. in the nearest future. I think that says it
That's
all.
a beautiful cap.
Thank you so very much, everyone. Pastor Jolly,
Thank you.
we did it again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. And thanks for all the messages. I mean, they were just coming in droves, but time is not our friend on the show. We'll see you next week on another edition of the Lifestyle Edition, but we'll be back tomorrow, okay? Make it a date. Have a good day.